Hi everyone, I'm Luanne Rice, and I'm so thankful to Amazon Publishing for inviting me to take part in Writer's Block. I love this series by writers talking about how we are getting through this time alone and how we are thinking of our readers and being very grateful to you for being with us, reading our books and watching these videos. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're finding ways to cope and to stay healthy and sane and to find company where you can. I am very lucky. I have a lot of company in my house, a lot of helpers. There's one there. She's being shy. Here's someone else. That's Orion. The one on the chair is Ivy. And there are two others who will probably visit too. So I've been staying busy writing mostly. I've had a couple of exciting things going on. So Last Day, the novel that came out in February, has been keeping me busy with podcasts and essays and speaking to radio stations and connecting with readers who have read it and who have questions, and I love that. And also working on my next novel called The Shadow Box, which will be out next February. And I just finished the edits on that, and that's always a really exciting time, to have handed the book in and to have gotten feedback and worked on the manuscript, to make it the best I can. And I've really enjoyed that process, and it's kept me extremely focused. So now I'm finished with that, which means I have to think of what's next. And so that will be something I'll start right away, I hope. And I would love to know what you're doing. I would love to know how you stay connected to your soul and to what's important to you during these kind of scary times. I would like to read to you a bit from Last Day, which is the book that came out in February. I love the cover. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really simple, but it's really evocative, I think, and it captures the spirit of the book, which is there's a sort of beauty and longing in this book, but there's also a murder. And I think that this conveys a bit of darkness along with the light, which I hope it did. Without telling you too much, it's about two sisters, one of whom has met tragedy, and the other of whom is about to visit her sister's daughter and talk to her about what's happened. She's a pilot. Kate is a pilot, and she's flying up to an island in Maine where her niece is at summer camp. And while she's flying, she's thinking of her grandmother, Matilda, who was a big influence in her life, who had been a pilot during World War II, one of the few women to gain recognition. They were flying toward the southern tip of Block Island. Soon she would make the turn over Great Salt Pond and begin to angle down toward the airport. "You don't need to live a conventional life," her grandmother said. "You don't need to do anything people say you should do. Shoot for the stars just like you're doing." Kate had banked left then, starting her descent for Block. That was over 23 years ago, and she banked left now, descending toward the Barred Owl Airport to pick up Sam. It was a short runway, but the Saratoga could handle it. She thought about a conventional life. Matilda would never know how much Kate wished she could have one. Matilda had chosen the path she wanted. Despite family pressure, she had never married, even when she'd had a child. Instead, she had fallen in love with Ruth, and they had lived together at Cloudlands, the big house on Sachem Hill. Kate knew herself in terms of her career and passion for flying. Her personal life was another matter. At 39, like Matilda, she had never married. People saw her laughing, driving, flying, and they didn't realize they were seeing a ghost. No one knew that ghosts could freeze, just like mists or vapor forming lacy crystals on windows in the winter. But Kate's spirit had turned to ice that day in the basement. It had been November, and the cellar had been damp, but all three of them, jammed together, all that body heat, had given her a fever. Despite feeling scalded, Kate had been frozen, and when she had thawed, her life force, every possibility of desire, had trickled out of her. She didn't care about owning a house in Black Hall, about tending an English country garden. She and her sister had been bequeathed many paintings by the Black Hall Impressionists, but unlike Beth, she displayed few. She didn't think about having a child and sending her to the right schools, the best camp. In her mind, she longed to be touched and loved and held, but her body refused it. Ghosts couldn't feel. Kate had watched Beth and their two best friends, Lulu and Scotty, flirting and dating and talking endlessly about the exquisite torments of love and passion. Kate convinced them she didn't care about such things. She kept busy trying to outfly all the male pilots she knew, just as Matilda had done in the war and beyond. Beth had been the one to do those things. She had met Pete when he visited the gallery, fallen madly in love, and married him at 22, had a perfect daughter. She had taken over the gallery, leaving Kate free to fly. She was great at cultivating wealthy collectors, and she assisted law enforcement agents and insurance investigators on the trail of criminals who had stolen paintings from museums and other galleries. She had become something of an expert in the psychology of art thieves, whether those who made it their careers or one-timers like their father. He had been behind the crime. He had needed money to fund his gambling habit. Beth's theory was that all thieves and cons, were born of insatiable need, and that their fathers had been to restore his bank account, as much for the sake of the family as himself. Kate considered that to be bullshit. If he had any insatiable need, it had been to keep blowing money at the casino and to supporting his young mistress. The fact that his wife had died and that she and his daughters had gone through hell had been less important than achieving that goal. And even after what he did, convicted and locked away for life, Beth was kind to him. She was all good. Through everything, she'd never stopped volunteering. She had been as excellent as anyone on this earth could be. Thinking about her sister, Kate felt her eyes blur with tears. She had to squint hard so she could see the dangerously short runway. She judged the length, determined a steep approach, maintained speed, reduced throttle, and touched down. Matilda would have been proud of her landing, especially through teary eyes. And that made Kate sad, because Matilda had never felt truly proud of Beth. She had loved her. She and Ruth had enjoyed holidays at the Lathrop's house, occasionally attended openings at the gallery that Matilda's parents had founded. Matilda had been happy she'd lived to meet Samantha, her great-granddaughter. But she'd always felt Beth had taken the expected way, the society-approved path as a woman. Although she'd never said it out loud, Kate knew that Matilda hadn't truly believed that Beth had attained excellence. But Kate believed it. Her sister had been excellent in more ways than anyone knew. Anyone but Kate, because they were sisters, forever. Even now, especially now, Kate climbed out of the cockpit and took a deep breath. It was time to go find her niece. So thank you for letting me read from last day. And before I say goodbye, I'd like to encourage you to find what will make you happy and make you feel creatively fulfilled and sustained during this time. With all our free hours, it's a great time to write or to paint, whatever it is you love. And say it's writing. Maybe I could offer a prompt, and I'll suggest it to you, and I will actually follow it myself. And it is to be in this moment, to be right where you are right now, and to feel what you feel, and to ask yourself, what now? What now? And whether it's fiction, whether it's a story that starts with that question, or whether it's something, an essay or just a little memoir about what you're going through, what you're feeling. Give yourself 2 pages to write it and see if it leads to something else. I know it will. It always does. Because what now is one of the big questions, one of the best questions I feel that a writer can ask. So I wish you all the best with that. And I hope that you are happy and healthy and safe, and that soon you'll be able to hug the people you love. I'm missing that myself a lot. The cats help, but I really could use a hug. So lots of love to all of you, and good luck with your writing or whatever it is you decide to do. Thank you for watching. Bye.